Yo, what up everybody? It's Tuna. I just wanted to make a quick video updating you guys on my plans going forward for the patch 3.21 for the Crucible expansion and what build I'll be playing. This is not by any means going to be a build guide or anything like that, but just more of an update video to let you guys know sort of where I'm sitting at and what I'm sort of wanting to do. So yeah, let's start off with basically what the league mechanic is. So the league mechanic is going to be us standing around in a circle. Basically, it's like sort of like ultimatum. You can expect monsters to spawn in close proximity of each other, and what you want to do there is basically kill them all. And there's going to be a mixture of monsters. Going to be maybe like white monsters next to yellow monsters, next to blue monsters and whatnot. So monsters of low HP mixed in with high HP monsters. And essentially, the goal of the league mechanic is to survive. So that you can actually get juice into your weapon and you can level it up and that kind of stuff. For that purpose, I thought that there would be two builds or two ascendancies that would really suit this sort of mechanic. And for me, it's either the Pathfinder because of its poison proliferation, and the Occultist because of Profane Bloom, which is essentially first enemies explode, dealing a quarter of their HP as chaos damage. Monsters in a small area around them. So yeah, proliferation is really good because it's multiplicative with pack size. So essentially, when monsters are in close proximity of each other, a poison will proliferate from one monster to the other, and all of those poisons will essentially proliferate onto the big target. The tanky targets that are still alive, the rares, the blue monsters, and that kind of stuff. So you don't necessarily need an insane single target to be able to deal with those rares, since basically you're going to be able to get a lot of poisons onto those targets. And much like that as well, the cultist is going to have that sort of same effect because small monsters are going to be standing next to yellow mobs, and they're going to basically explode. And all those poisons from those explosions, since we will have a ton of global poison chance, aka our explosions are going to be poisoning, all of those poisons will then, on top of the damage from the explosion of course, will then be put onto the rares, and that will be able to clean up all the monsters very nicely and very fast. So now that I've picked the two ascendancies that I wanted to play, I sort of was looking at skills that interest me and also skills that I might not have played in the past. So I still think Scourger Ballista was on the list of things that I wanted to play, but it is something that I played 2 leagues ago and I took to level 100 as well. And it's a really good build. It's really fun, but I wanted to do something else. There's Poison Blade Vortex, which I played last league. Poison Blade Vortex is also a really good build. It doesn't have great single target, but it's very good at mapping. It's quite tanky, it has determination, grace, and all that kind of stuff. It's you get a lord, so yeah, it's basically like a pretty good build. Although it doesn't have great single target, it does have the capability of being able to sort of explode packs and proliferate poisons onto bigger targets, and as I just mentioned. However, since I also played that, thinking what could be the third option, and for me the third option is Doom Blast. The Doom Blast is something that I thought was going to get nerfed this league, but having looked at the patch notes and having looked at everything that happens, basically Doom Blast is still a completely viable build. It is not nerfed, so I am very happy to be actually able to be playing this build in the next patch. So what I've been doing lately is I've just been sort of testing the build in the early acts. Many people think that you actually need Vixens to level up this build, or sorry, to play this build at all. But you don't actually need Vixens because of the Cursed Crown support. Essentially, what Cursed Crown lets you do, it lets you bypass Vixens early on. And it lets you able to actually cast your curses. And as you can see, the Cursed Crown here. So essentially, what it will do is it will rip off the curses from the mobs and it will explode them. This is just a leveling run that I've done literally just today. I just ended the leveling run. I did a few maps, got a couple of yellow maps that I ran. And, it's been pretty decent. The leveling, I have to say that I tried to level this build from Act 3 with Doom Blast. I do not recommend that at all. So Impending Doom is honestly really bad in the early acts because of the way the damage scales on the gem. It does have quadratic scaling, so it does start at very low numbers, and then it pretty much exponentially increases the amount of damage that it deals as it levels up. So as you can see, it's 1,700 base damage on the top end now. It was almost barely any in Act 3. So I think the best way to level this build is going to be using still Poison Concoction. Poison Concoction is going to be a great way to level. Even an Occultist, essentially what you want to do is you'll want to be rushing these nodes right here for the flasks, and everything else pretty much stays the same. So you won't have to really worry about respeccing all that much. So yeah, you'll be getting those flask nodes, and you'll be using 3 life flasks or however many flasks you need. Additionally, you can also grab the additional projectile here if you really want it, but you'll sort of have to you'll sort of have to judge, you know, how much mana you're spending, how much life you're spending, etc. Mana's still going to be fine because of Clever Thief. So yeah, essentially you're going to be grabbing Clever Thief there, and I'm pretty sure it's going to just keep you all the way topped on hit here and life leech in general. You're going to keep your mana topped and your life topped, of course. So the only concern is essentially going to be your life flask charges and upgrading your life flask as you do that. But you don't have to worry about that all that much, because in Act 6 or 7, that's about when you can swap. So make sure to always have a Doom Blast or Impending Doom Gem in your offhand to level up as you're leveling through the campaign, because you'll need this one to be as high level as possible. You know, you want this one to be basically just ready to go as soon as you want to swap. And yeah, you can basically go on from a 4-link from there. I dropped this Mark of Submission ring, and it's actually a very good addition to the build, because you can actually grab that and essentially put a curse in there, and it will act like a double trigger almost, right? So essentially, what you want to do is you want to grab the additional curse there when you have your ring, and then you put that on, and you'll be able to get both curses on the enemy, and it's going to essentially, you know, apply it to the curse ground and then rip off the curse and all that kind of stuff. So that's really, really nice. The build basically almost needs nothing to get off the ground, although it has very, very good scaling. And I am, I basically just wanted to let you guys know what my plan is going forward, and I will be putting out some sort of like more formal guide, let's say, or written guide for the build. And I definitely want to shout out PoE HC, because PoE has been doing so much work for this build and so much work for the community in the past league, and it's helped me understand the build a lot more. So definitely big shout out to PoE, and if you want to check out any of his content, I'll make sure to link his Twitch in the description and that kind of stuff. So big up PoE, hardcore. And I'm also going to be looking to write a max roll guide for this build, so also keep a lookout for that. But for the moment, I am just currently testing this in the early acts and seeing how it does before I can transition to Vixens. And as soon as I have Vixens, essentially from there we'll be flying basically with the build, and we'll be able to take on pretty much all content in the game. So yeah, that is pretty much the goal of this build. It's going to be able to take me all the way into red maps and kill all the Watchstone bosses and that kind of stuff. So all the pinnacles will be down with this build, and it's going to help me actually accelerate sort of my farm into red maps, and to be able to farm altars, and also to be sort of a good ascendancy for me to roll into my second build. I don't quite know what my second build is, but I do know that I want to play an occultist. And there are many builds out there that you can still play on occultist that are very fun. One build that I would highly recommend if you like chaos builds, of course, is the Spark Poison Occultist. So this is a very good build to transition into that, since much of the gear will be the same. Even the skin of the Lord is the same colors, so that is absolutely perfect to be able to transition into that. All you'll need is basically an Ashes to go for the Spark Poison build, and yeah, it's basically all the same. But I do think that a lot of people that are going to playing this Doom Blast build are going to stick with it, because I think it's just a fantastic build. And yeah, I would honestly highly recommend this build for anybody. And yeah, I'll run a map real quick to sort of showcase what it looks like. Unfortunately, we got to run a dungeon map, but you know how it is. Let's put on some volume. So basically how it functions is you'll be just like right clicking, and it casts your curses on the floor, and those curses are supported by Spell Cascade, and that's why you're seeing them repeating like that. And when it's cast on a monster, what it does is it applies the curse. Let's find a mob here. They exist. So it applies the curse on a monster, and then the curse explodes. And then once it explodes, your Profane Bloom also explodes. Because, we're playing occultist, of course. And that is also like gonna apply poisons and stuff like that, so you'll be able to get your Plague Bearer charged up. And that's kind of like how the build looks just as you come out of Act 10 into a yellow map. As you can see, I don't even have my Pantheon upgrade or anything like that. that's pretty much it. The single target damage is not that insane right now, but you know, it will scale as we get more links and as we get higher level gems and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically what the build looks like. A couple things that I do want to say about the build is if we look here at the path of building, next league will have essentially more mana reservation efficiency that we can grab here. So that's really nice. 12% global. That allows us to fit all of our auras, and you know, essentially early on we'll be able to fit Arctic armor until we can be frozen immune. And yeah, so we'll be grabbing that as soon as possible. And I think it's just like a really comfy build. Profane blooms are really nice. The speed is like, it's decent, you know. We're using shield charge and onslaught and the quicksilver, and basically it's just a targeted circle. The area of effect can be scaled, of course, with hex area of effect, which I'm actually working towards, and also grabbing here skittering runes. So that's going to be really nice. That's 50% AoE. Yeah, that's basically my plans going forward and what I will be doing for 3.21. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this little update, and look forward to the build guide if this is something that you're interested in the future, or stop by the stream to sort of see my progress of early mapping and that kind of stuff and testing, so that I can actually write the guide with the most sort of, you know, by having had experience in playing the build and in the early acts until pre-Vixen. But thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, maybe let me know what you're playing and what you're planning on playing, or if you're planning on playing this, then let me know as well. Yeah, thank you very much. Peace out.